Duchess is a glass cannon and my new main in Elden Ring Night Rain. As a solo player and a Wilder fan, there are a few tips I would like to share from my experience using this new character. First, I would like to go over the build which I settled on after a bit of tinkering. All 3 relics were grand luminous scenes, as I used the Erdtree Grail for 3 yellow slots. The first relic gave me a stamina recovery boost upon critical hits. The second gave me character skill cooldown reduction. The final and most important one had 3 useful effects. It boosted my dexterity +1, physical attack +2, and a unique buff to Duchess called Dagger Chain Attack reprises event upon nearby enemies. Let's start with this one. That phrase is a weird way of saying that the final attack in your dagger attack chain activates a free instance of your character skill, Restage, to apply half the damage inflicted over the past 3 seconds. This Restage instance does not consume your actual ability, so feel free to stack them on top of each other for even more ridiculous DPS. Also, you only need to land the final attack, not every attack in the chain. As great as this is, it does only apply to daggers. I would always run this if you plan on upgrading your starter weapon all the way through the final fight, but the additional dexterity scaling and physical attack power is nice regardless. The stamina recovery upon criticals is the same boost I use on my main Wilder build. The buff is the same, but the method of achieving it differs. Wilder is mainly a greatsword user, so many of his criticals come from poise breaks or pile bunker usage. Duchess uses mainly smaller weapons, so you won't see nearly as many poise breaks, but backstabs are much easier with her double dodges and incredible maneuverability. With all the comparisons to Wilder, you may ask why I don't use the Baron of the Night on this build like I did on my Wilder build. The answer is simply, I wanted to experiment with all yellow relics. Baron of the Night is such a powerful relic that it would be optimal to use her Remembrance Chalice and sub out that first grand luminous scene. Character cooldown reduction is essential, as this is an easy way to multiply our damage by 1.5. Spam this skill whenever you deal a good bit of damage, and you'll see how great the Duchess DPS can get. After beating every Night Lord with Wilder, there are a few things I had to get used to in these recent runs. First and most obvious is survivability. Not only does Wilder have more vigor, but his unique character skill automatically dodges a fatal attack and recharges at every site of grace. This skill saved me innumerable times, especially when I started playing the game. Duchess may have better dodges, but she has no second chance ability. Fights where Wilder could take 3 or 4 hits, Duchess can only take 2. She has a proficiency for faster weapons, can double dodge, and expends less stamina than all other Nightfarers. That double dodge is great to space yourself away from the enemy. However, when you get used to the dodges, it's best to only use the double dodge when you need it. Double dodging all the time can space you too far away from the enemy and spend extra stamina. When a single dodge is sufficient, use a single dodge. I finally got the hang of this in my first fight with her against Darkdrift, and it went much better than my previous Night Lord fights with her. Her ultimate finale is great in multiplayer to pick up teammates, but has plenty of use in solo also. Save it up for difficult moves like Gladius splitting into 3. It is also a perfect opportunity to catch a backstab on an unaware target and restage it for even more damage. The highest stat scaling on Duchess is intelligence and not dexterity. There are plenty of spells to choose from in a run, and sending magical projectiles downrange is great fun in multiplayer. However, when you are the only target on the field, it is much more difficult to find spell casting time. I greatly preferred to use dexterous weapons throughout my runs instead. Do these special perks make Duchess a better solo character than Wilder? No, not even close. In my first Gladius run, I went down on 5 separate occasions. I won in the end and was able to do a deathless run on the second try, but it was much harder and not nearly as pretty as my Wilder runs. If you're getting into solo, stick with Wilder and save your Duchess use for multiplayer. Now, the question I want to ask all of you today, how often do you solo this game? By now, a sizable majority of my playtime is solo, but the people I play with will queue up with randoms before they do a solo run. So comment down below how often you do solo, if you do it at all. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. By this time next week, I'll have an in-depth Duchess clear for you by 5 p.m. Eastern Time next Friday.